Welcome to this year's Mind and Body Wellness Retreat 2021, brought to you by the Paso Health Foundation, Emergence Health Network, and the Mental Health Learning Library. You know, I'm excited to be out here. We're in this unique space. We'll talk a little bit more about it in a little bit. First, I want to introduce myself. My name is Chavarria, Manager of Community Education here at Emergence Health Network. Of course, with me, I have Ms. Robin Scofield, right?
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit more what you do here? What is your role?
I'm a Master Gardener with the El Paso Master Gardener Association, and I'm the chair of the garden, which means that I decide what gets planted and where. We do a lot of work here. We amend the beds, which means a lot of shoveling of soil and a full body workout, in other words.
I love
Get a
that.
lot of fresh air and exercise when you're a gardener.
Thank you, Ms. Robin. And of course, you already know last year we did a unique experience as well at one of our local nurseries, and I had to have Ms. Rhonda Russ back here to help us out with the whole situation when it comes to plants, when it comes to gardening and all that. I know she's passionate about it, and she probably is gonna give us a lot of knowledge when it comes to our mind and our body, how that can help us. So this year, unlike last year, we were kind of like showcasing things that you could do. This year, I'm trying to bring you tools and locations that you could come out to, maybe that you were not aware of, but now you are. And you can come out here and hopefully learn a lot more about whether it be gardening, whether it be creating your own greenhouse. That's something that people are interested in, right? So let's talk about it here, because today we are at the Ascarate Education and Demonstration Garden here. So it's a unique space because there's a lot going on, and so we want to invite you to come out here and experience this place. So Miss Robin, I mean, I'm looking at this place. I've been here before. It's going through a unique transition, and I like it because I think that, you know, here in El Paso, of course, we're familiar with the sun. We're familiar with the heat. We know kind of what to do in our garden, stuff like that. But a lot of people are not aware that, you know, our garden might go through a transition. Just like people, I think we go through a transition like through the seasons, right? And you could definitely see that here. And I feel like it's an opportunity. People can come out here and learn what can they plant during winter time and all that stuff. Can you tell me a little bit more about what's going on?
Yes, the winter crop, we're tearing down the summer crops and putting in the winter crops. You can garden all year round in El Paso. So we're growing some delicious kale, chard, let's see, what else have we got going? Carrots, radishes, beets, broccoli, cabbage, all the brassica family, cauliflower. We have and we've still got our peppers in, our chili peppers, because they do well in the fall, so we can't bear to tear them down quite yet.
Right, and then you were telling me a little bit about the raised gardens, right?
Yes.
Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
We have raised beds because even though it might seem like an outlay of labor at first, it's so much better than trying to dig in our caliche soil. Because what we do is we made these raised beds out of the concrete blocks and rebar to stabilize them. And we manufacture our soil. We have a composting bin. We also get soil from different places when we run out of compost. And so we manufacture our own soil and mix it up ourselves with the soil and the compost. And you can control the soil so much better, because if you don't have good soil, you're not going to have good plants.
Right, that really does come down to being a challenge. And I know, even talking to the other gardeners earlier, they were showcasing the tomatoes, all of the stuff that, I mean, till this day they're producing.
Yes, we have a little fall crop of tomatoes as an experiment.
Yeah, see, and I didn't even know you could actually have tomatoes year round like that. It's amazing. And also, can you tell me a little bit more about this area, the accessible garden? I think this is so interesting. I know I had the fortune to work with people that were limited sometimes physically, but this is awesome. Can you tell me a little bit more about it?
Yes, our accessible gardening area is a reflection of our philosophy that everybody should get to enjoy gardening regardless of ability. So what we've done is we've taken some designs and built raised beds where people can sit down while they garden, or they can actually wheel a wheelchair into the garden area and garden from their wheelchair or walker.
That's so important. I think there may be people that might have that challenge, right? And it's like they don't know where to go out in the community that they could experience being in a community, maybe even building self-esteem by learning a skill. So I want to invite you out here, learn about the garden beds, learn about what things can grow. In addition to that, I know there's been some growth here. They've been trying to create a children area, right?
That's right. We have a new project, which is going to be our children's garden. So far, the guys have built a fountain, which is amazing looking, and there's nothing like the sound of water to aid your meditation. And me, I like the sound of children also, so that sounds good to me. And we planted grass over there for the children, and we've got to see what kind of plants and other fun things we can do for the children's garden.
Right, and of course, Leslie, I can't help to look at the building that's over there, really the greenhouse and that structure for those individuals that are interested in growing, crops year-round, or even having exotic plants or anything like that. Of course, that's something that people can come out here, learn as well.
Yes.
Am I right? So
Yes, our engineers who are master gardeners built that greenhouse. Now, everybody may not have the expertise in electricity and that they have, but it's a great example of do-it-yourself gardening.
Yeah, and I know from the conversation with them, you can come out here, ask questions, learn, and really put yourself in a space where you can grow, just like this space, right?
Yeah.
So, thank you so much, Ms. Robin, for that. Now, I'm going to talk to Ms. Rhonda here. I mean, because I'm very interested in how this place can contribute to our mind, our body, health, and wellness, right? So, can you tell me a little bit about, how, because even me walking in here, I felt something within like my mood, already it got affected in a positive. So can you tell me a little bit about that?
Definitely. What's so special about a garden, whether it's at home or you are able to come out here and get the education and demonstration from the master gardeners here, what's wonderful about it is that that's exactly it. It does calm your mood. It helps with your anxiety. It also helps with your depression. In the back there's some sweet basil and lemon basil, and when you smell it, you can just feel everything calming all the way through. And then it made my mouth water because I'm like, I know exactly what I want to cook with this basil. I've got several, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it just is very, very calming. It releases serotonin in the brain, which helps you calm down. Gardening helps keep you focused. You're focused on that one task. And so it helps with any negative mood. Being out there. At home, I have several plants and I love it. And I remember one of my neighbors comes across the street and goes, Rhonda, I love your garden. It's my front yard. Yeah. But I have palm trees and ice plants. But next to one of my huge palm trees, I have all these cacti which produce a ton of prickly pear fruit. And so I got to meet a lot of my neighbors from the neighborhood that just happened to be walking around, and they would stop and talk to me. And we'd introduce ourselves that way, people I hadn't seen from the other blocks. I'm like, you know what, they're walking by and may I take some of your prickly pear fruit? I'm like, please do. And what I learned about the prickly pear fruit this year is that in July I started tasting them, but August is like the best month to actually harvest the fruit and eat it. It's super, super sweet. Tastes like watermelon. That mine did. Anyways, I loved it. But what was also nice is that I would have families come by, and one of my neighbors from the other street behind us, she brought her mother, and she's like, oh, my mom's been eyeing your ice plants here. I'm like, great, she can take some. She goes, is it okay if she takes them? I'm like, please do. So she starts picking them. I said, I'm gonna let you take more. I went to my backyard and got one of my pots and gave it to her. I said, put as much in there as you can. I said, if those don't propagate for you, come back by and get some more. It's like the whole easement is covered in it. So it was really nice to meet a lot more of my neighbors, which was, we're standing there, we're laughing and we're talking. And obviously that calms your mood and makes you feel good because you're connecting to people in other ways. And I never thought having ice plants and cacti with the prickly pear would help me to connect to my neighbors. And so it was a wonderful, wonderful feeling as well. It made me feel really good.
I love that. I think I get a lot of questions, right? When we do work out, the workshops and the trainings, and they tell me like, well, what about creating the sense of community? What about creating a space where we could socialize and feel like there's support? And that's like I mentioned, right? When it comes to wellness, it doesn't have to be through just education and training. It could be through these type of venues, right? Where you could come out here, put yourself in a space where you want to learn and also whether you want to socialize and be part of a community, and you'll get some benefits from that, right?
Absolutely.
Last thing I wanted to ask you, as far as like self-esteem, right? You talk about like, you know, being able to plant something and grow something and
Yes.
hopefully harvest whatever you're making. How can that be beneficial for somebody that might be trying to, you know what, I want to prioritize my mind, my body. What can you tell me
It's just
about
like
that?
being able to grow something. I've learned how to grow palm trees from my palm tree seeds, and it's just like the sense of accomplishment, which also boosts your self-esteem. But also, as I had talked to you before, I'll be giving the palm trees away as gifts to my friends.
Wow.
And so that, it just feels really good. I'm able to give them something that I grew from a seed, a tiny little seed. I don't know if you know how small the seeds are for palm trees to grow into such a beautiful tree. I mean, my trees on my front yard are now, they're 23 years old and they're like 20 feet tall. And so when I look up to them, I remember when they were only a foot tall, I'm like, I grew that. And one of my neighbors, she also helped me plant those initially 23 years ago. And so to see them grow up and to have people come by and say, I love your palm trees, I take your ice plants, you have some of your prickly pear fruit, it just feels really good, and that does boost your self-esteem and that connection that you have within your own community. And so it's just a wonderful feeling. You just feel like you've accomplished so much.
Right. Well, thank you, Ms. Rhonda, for
Thank
sharing
you.
all of that. Thank you for having us here
Thank you,
at
Louis.
this wonderful garden. Guys, I want to invite you to come out here, right? Experience this place. Be open to learning. Be open to, you know, getting your hands dirty a little bit, like that workout that we've been talking about. And also, if you can, you know, just bring your family. You know, create that dynamic that you can work with one another. I think that's super important. So we want to invite you out here and experience this place. All right, well, thank you so much for joining on this segment of the Mind and Body Wellness Retreat 2021. We want to invite you out here, not only to just, you know, talk about Mental Health Learning Library and the modules, but also this unique space. Ms. Robin, can you tell us what are the times of operations out here so that people can come out here and experience this place?
Yes, we're open Monday through Thursday, 7 to 11 a.m.
There you go. Either way, I'm gonna have all the information relating to this garden here on the description, also the information to the modules that we offer, and any sort of hours or emails that might be important. So don't even worry, it'll all be on the description below. Thank you everyone for joining us, and we'll see you on the next one.